Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today we talk about what if Deku had doing something app redo. So, we talked about how after getting ready for the USJ attack, they made it there as they basically successfully weakened All Might to the point of getting ready to kill him, but unfortunately, the top 10 heroes arrived and stopped them. But Izuku would show everybody that All Might is weak by stabbing him in his weak point. The scar, or whatever you want to call it, or the hole, that All For One made onto his, well, um, you know, um, actually, what do you actually want to call it? You don't want to call it like, yeah, let's just call it on the side. After doing that, they basically left because of the heroes getting ready to attack them, and so they basically left as the gnome was basically killed. So, after that, they basically left. Izuku would go back home with nobody expecting him to be the villain, because after all, who would ever expect the quirkless kid? So, that is basically what happened last episode. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku came back home as it's basically, well, the next day. Apparently, they were told by, well, the school that they're not allowed to go to school today because of the whole, well, the whole USJ incident. And so they were told that they're gonna be, having dorms. And if they get permission from their parents, they're allowed to stay at the dorms from now on, as a extra precaution in case of villains attacking one of their students. So, after telling his mom about this, his mom, or should I say Inko, would allow it, even though that would mean, well, less contact with her son. But she was okay with that. And so, Izuku would decide to go. Wait for a second. Would decide to go to the dorms. And when he did made it there, he would decide to wear a mask. As in, not, this mask. Not this mask. The other type of mask. The mask that you should wear when it's still the pandemic, for God's sake. When Izuku made it there, the rest of his classmates welcomed him, including Shinso. Shinso would tell him, so who's going to be your roommate? As when he did go to his, well, room, apparently his roommate would be, well, Shinso for some reason. As Shinso was like this. Oh, so we're gonna be roommates. Cool. As he would say this. Yeah, cool I guess. As after unpacking all of his things, he would start moving out as he would say this. Alright, I'm gonna be preparing dinner, so be careful. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, I'm just gonna get the ingredients as well. So, when Izuku starts going to the grocery store, he would see some people being suspicious. Apparently some people were talking about, well, about the USJ incident, but also some people talking about how this brand new villain by the name of Overhaul is creating these anti-quirk drugs, which Izuku was quite interested in. So, after he took his groceries, he would go back and also go back to the grocery store, saying that he's gonna be getting some stuff for himself, quote unquote. But in actuality, he would listen in to the conversation. So, when he did get there, he sees, or at least hears, that apparently this Overhaul guy is working for the Yakuza. In fact, he's actually the leader of the brand new Yakuza. And after being told of this by, or at least, well, basically like, what do you actually call it? Eavesdropping, I meant. After eavesdropping on them, well, he would start going to that area where so-called Overhaul is giving away his, well, special, well, drugs, or should I say, anti-quirk bullets. So, after getting there, he would see an exchange with a few League of Villains members. Not only that, he would also see All For One himself talking to Overhaul, but unfortunately he'd gone south as he started together. After seeing this, he would also see Eri, Apparently, in the conversation, apparently, Eri was one of the ingredients for the quirk destroying drug. After hearing this, he would be pissed because he actually likes children. I mean, some of them are a bit annoying, but still, because Overhaul is basically using a child that's still pretty young, to use, well, the drugs, not only that, torturing her and killing her multiple times to create the drug, let's just say he's pissed off. Wait for a second. So, after seeing Overhaul basically leaving, he would start following him to his base of operations. Wait for a second again. To his base of operations. When he made it there, he sees that Overhaul is basically creating these quirk canceling bullets or destroying bullets by using the blood of Eri by killing her multiple times. When Izuku saw it, even though he liked the idea, the way he's doing it is just horrible. And so he became pissed. As he would start looking through his phone to try and find a suitable, well, demon to summon in. He's not going to be using his regular ones because that would be recognizable, but instead using a brand new one. Until he found something interesting. He finds that there's a tab. This tab allows him to specifically search up, well, demons from only one, or at least two, or multiple different races. And so he decides to go for the Tyrant race. As when he did that, he found Satan. As in actual Satan. As when Ezekiel purchased him, well, let's just say he was happy. And so, he summoned him out as he basically caused chaos. So, it would resemble a serpent with a skull as a head, as it seems to have breasts for some reason. But either way, it starts destroying the entire area, basically killing every single one of them, including Overhaul, except for Eri. Eri was unharmed, as Eri would be seeing this monstrous beast being Satan himself, as Satan would look at Eri, as he says this: "No longer you will be hurt, child. I am Satan, destroyer of all, the tyrant king of hell, but I shall be your protection. That is my master's will, after all." As Izuku would come out, as Izuku would say this: "Hello there." As Eri would say this: "Are you gonna hurt me?" As he would say this: "No, I'm just gonna save you from this disgusting man." As Eri would be carried by Satan, as Eri would think that Satan is actually kind of, well, helpful. As when Overhaul sees this, Overhaul would start using his quirk on him. As Izuku would start slicing him apart, using his swords. As Overhaul would be no more. His entire factory would be destroyed. As Izuku would say this: "This place is a place of sin." As Izuku would say this: "Now, Satan, activate your..." Wait for a second. So, Satan would start charging up an attack, destroying the entire, well, the rest of the factory, destroying everything, including the supply of blood that Eri gave, or was forcibly taken away from her by Overhaul. The place was turned into nothing but smoldering ash and dirt. Izuku would just say this: "Monsters! Freaks!" As Izuku would say this: "Don't worry, Eri. I'll just bring you to my home." As Eri would say this. Okay, please don't leave me. As he would say this. Don't worry, I'll bring you to my mother. She'll take care of you, just like me. As he would kiss her on the forehead and tells her to go to sleep. But Ezekiel would also tell Satan to use one of his skills. Not the damaging ones, but a sleep spell or skill. Let's just say that he's able to do that. Even though it's probably not one of his skill sets. Let's just say he's able to do that. So Eri would fall asleep as he would bring her to his mother's home and knocks on the door, and well, he would basically just like wrap her up just like in like classic like stories where like a main character would just like as a child is like mother or father or whatever or parent would just bring them onto the like doorstep of like somebody, just basically that, and just wraps her up in like well cloth and into a basket. He would just bring her to his mom's house. As well, when she saw this, she decides to make Eri into her, well, daughter. So, when he gets back home, well, he sees that Shinso is already asleep. As for him, he would also decide to go to sleep. So, when he starts taking a shower, he goes to sleep after that. So, the next day comes as it's another rest day, because unfortunately there's going to be no class because after all, after that little incident, they want to well keep their students safe. And also they're going to be training for the well sports festival. But Izuku doesn't want to join because well apparently after being told by his mother, apparently his mother well well wait for a second, got this package, and apparently this package was, well, Eri. After being told of this, he would be surprised because, he's trying to pretend that he didn't, like, destroy the entire, like, Yakuza in an instant, and saying, oh, so I have a little sister now? As, well, his mother would say this. Yes. So, now, I just hope that you and Eri could maybe become great friends, or even brother and sister. As he would say this. Oh, I see. So Yuzuki would also during that time he also put a note saying that her name is Eri. So yeah. So after like a while of like training, he would also get a text from the League of Villains. He would tell them that apparently there's this little event coming up called the Sports Festival. And apparently they want to have some fun. As in fun, I mean destroying the entire place to the ground. And also ruining, well, the whole celebration. As when they were told of this, Shigaraki would be ecstatic. As he would say this, very well, Izuku. Let's cause some havoc. And also, do you have any idea what happened to Overhaul? As he would say this, what do you mean? As he would say this, well, we were trying to talk to Overhaul, but instead, he tried attacking us. But apparently some guy, or whatever happened there, well, it's no longer there now. As he would say this, what do you mean no longer there now? As he would say this, you're meant to go to, wait for a second, meant to go to the factory and steal some of their anti-quirk, well, weaponry. And we were also meant to get the girl, but it seemed that she kind of is gone. Even the entire factory is gone, so I'm guessing they decided to leave so they won't get, well, get in trouble. As Izuku would say this, I see. Anyway, I'm just gonna be doing some more training. As he would say this, fine. And also, by the way, how's that All Might? As he would say this, didn't see him. As he would say this, sure. Bye. as he would say this. Bye. So, after a while of training with his sword, mostly using a kendo sword for now as a practice weapon, and also using a shorter version of a kendo sword as a representation as his two swords, being the long and short one. So, after a while of training, well, a person would step out of the shadows. As this person would sound like a girl. I didn't know that you're. Wait for a second. I didn't know that you're quite fast at fighting. As Izuku would hear this. Hmm? So, who you're talking to? And who are you exactly? As she would say this. Well, I've been looking at you for a while now, and I think I'm quite interested in you, even though you're quite quirkless. As Izuku would say this. Go on. As she would say this. I also know that you're the vigilante. The brand new vigilante, to be more specific. I think your name was wait for a second. I think your vigilante name was like Limerick or something. But still a pretty cool name. As he would say this. Anyway, why are you here and how do you know that I'm Limerick? As she would say this. Oh, I heard of you on the news, and after hearing your voice and also hearing your voice in the recordings in the USJ, I found out that you were him. As he would say this. So, mind telling me why do you want to talk to me? And second of all, why are you daring to talk to me? I hate your stupid quirk users. I hate everything about you. As she would say this. Well, I actually hate quirk users myself, even though I am one. As he would say this. Really? And how do I know that you're not lying? As she would say this. Oh, trust me. I know that feeling. As he would say this. Then tell me and get out of that stupid light. I meant, get out of that stupid darkness of yours. As she would say this. Fine. As she would come out of the shadows, as this girl seems to have orange, or should I say ginger hair, and has pure green eyes. As she would say this. Oh, hello there. You can call me Kendo. I'm from Class 1B. As he would say this. Class 1B, As another person would arrive. As this person seems to be another kid. Hey. As this kid would jump up behind him as he would say this. The name's Monoma. But I also heard that you're, well, pretty much hateful towards Bakugo, right? As he would say this. Right, but how do you know? As another person would arrive again. As she would say this. May God be on your side, young man. As he would look over and sees a woman with green hair, or more specifically, seems to have vines for hair and green eyes. As she would say this. My name is Ibarra. I'm one of Class 1B's spiritual leaders. As he would say this. Right. So, what do you want? As she would say this, being Monoma. Not Monoma, I meant, Kento. Well, isn't that obvious? We want to join you in your League of Villains team, or whatever it's called. As he would say this. Why should we? Or why should I? As he would say this, being Monoma. Because Class 1B became so irritating. They're so prideful and dare to speak against us. We're supposed to be the number ones here, but they became the number ones. How is that? This is absolutely unfair. Just because they have flashy ass quirks doesn't mean that they dare to think of themselves as gods. As for Ibarra, she would say this. Agreed. They dare to stand before us and they believe that they're higher than us. It makes me angry, even though I don't indulge in the sin of wrath. As Ibarra would say this, I agree. So we want to join your League of Villains team to show Class 1A who's the better heroes. As he would say this, so you're saying you want to become heroes by becoming villains. Is that counterintuitive to you? As one of them would say this, being Monoma, just let us join, okay? And besides, if you don't, we're just gonna leak your info about it. As Izuku would say this, what do you mean by that? As he would say this, yeah, we can just tell everybody that you're Limerick and get you arrested. As Izuku would put up his phone as his monsters or demons would come out, being Loop Guru and Matador, as they start glaring at Monoma. As Monoma would take back his words as he would say this. Actually, I won't do that. Please don't kill me. As Loop Guru would say this. You better listen up, you damn kid. As Matador would say this. Agreed. Or guess I'll just have to stab you multiple times. As she would say this, being Ibarra, what are those things? As he would say this, these are known as demons, and I'm what you call a proto-fiend, or should I say a Nahobino, a person fused with a proto-fiend. In my case, mine is Shang-Yi, the Chinese goddess of the moon. So, why do you want to join us? Join the League of Villains. As, well, she would say this, being, well, Kendo. We just want to get our vengeance on those people that believe themselves as gods. They think that they're better than us just because they have flashy quirks, but they're not. As Izuku would say this, fine, very well, but I'll have to tell you this. The reason why I joined the League of Villains is because I'm not really interested in the League of Villains at all. The reason why I decided to join them is because their leader, All for One, is actually going to be the cause of the end of the world. As one of them would say this. Wait, what? Being Monoma, as he would say this. Yep. I was told by this by Chang'e. She told me that this All for One himself is fused with the, well, is also a Nahobino, but more specifically, he's fused with Lucifer. As when Ibarra hears that, she would say this. You mean the fallen angel? No way. As he would say this. Yes way. And apparently it's just his evil half. His good half is currently somewhere else, sealed away. And if I get him, he'll be a great ally in defeating All for One and saving this world. And when I do, I'm probably gonna terraform this world, turning it into what I seek. A world that anybody can become a hero, even the quirkless. And those that think of themselves higher than each other, they would be destroyed, broken down, and punished. As when they hear this, they say this. So, that is why you joined the League of Villains? As Monoma would say this. That's actually a good cause. Just make sure not to, kill me. As Izuku would say this. Fine, I'll let you join, but I'll just have to tell my so-called superiors. But if we do, or if you get, well, wait for a second. If they actually accepted you into the League of Villains, you have to promise me this. When it's finally time for me to take my place as the brand new ruler of this world, you will follow me. And you will be given demons of your own. You, Ibarra, will be given angels. Even though they're also called demons, but still. So, I also want to bring this world into true equality, true justice. This place is corrupted with the minds of heroes, and these heroes corrupt minds thinking that themselves, that they are true justice when they're nothing more than corrupted fools that think of themselves as higher than gods and use their money and fame to do whatever the hell they want. So, will you join me and make everyone know what true justice is? Make them show, make them see how much that the hero and, well, wait for a second, how this society, this so-called hero society, is corrupt. So, will you join me and make sure that this world shall be cleansed? As they would bow down, as they would kneel on one foot as they say this. Sure, Izuku Midoriya. As Izuku would say this. Good. Now, before we actually, well, leave. Well, I have to tell you this. If you ever betray me, you would start coming closer to them. I will not hesitate. As his body starts transforming into his Nahabino form, I will kill you. As his one purplish eye, beaming with rage, starts looking at them, as everybody would start cowering in fear. As Izuku would say this, so, when you do get accepted, when the time is right, we take action and destroy All for One, and destroy this corrupted society. Got it? As they would say this, yes, Izuku. As he would say this, good. Now, I'm already done training, so maybe you can, leave. As they would say this, sure, Izuku. As they would start leaving, as for Izuku, he would pack all of his things and starts moving on. When he did get back to his dorm room, he sees that the place, well, let's just say, the place seems to be filled with garbage and also cans of energy drinks for some reason, as he would see his classmates basically fooling around, including, well, Toga. Toga is just over there, just like talking to herself, as Izuku would say this, oh, hey Toga. As Toga would say this, oh, hey Izuku. So what happened? As he says this, I found some brand new recruits for the League of Villains. And oh boy, they're gonna be interesting, to say the least. As he would smile. So, this is gonna be the end of the episode, so I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!